to the Fade. All things Fade to Black 2025. I'm your host, Brandon Morgan, and I am sitting here with the number one visionary of all things Fade to Black, Miss Denise O'Neal.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
How you doing today?
I'm good.
Good to have you here. So, for all the people out there in Fade to Black land that may know or may not know who you are and what you do and what you give, could you just please give the world and all your Fade to Black fans just a little brief intro of who you are, what you do, and why you do it?
Okay. Well, I'm Denise O'Neal. I'm the executive director for Shabak Enterprise and the creator of the Fade to Black series. We've been doing this for about, it's going on our 12th season, so a little over 10, 11 years. And what we do is do play festivals, 10-minute play festivals for African-American playwrights across the country. Houston had never seen that before, so we started it, and it kind of just picked up and, blew up, and we 10, 11 years deep now.
Amen. Let's clap for that, y'all. Let's clap for that. So, Denise, just just give us some background of Fade to Black, right? Like its inception, like how you got the name, where did the idea come from, what is it? Like just talk as though we have no clue what Fade to Black even is.
Okay, so I was meeting new people in the theater community. I was volunteering and, just kind of getting to know people and seeing the 10-minute play format. It was new to me at that time, but I thought it was really cool. So I was going to 10-minute play festivals and enjoying them, but never really seeing anything that was supportive of African-American playwrights. I mean, I would see the festivals, but I would never see anything that appeared to be like a black playwright wrote this play.
Yeah.
And I thought, these play festivals are so cool, but, are any of the writers black? And I knew across the country it was a thing, but it wasn't what I was seeing. It definitely was not what I was seeing in Houston. So anyway, I got in my mind that I'll do some research. I'll see if anybody else in the state has done it or city has done it. And I couldn't find anybody that had done that. So I said, it's up to me to create it. And by that time, I had met enough people, developed enough friendships, and was able to go to people and say, hey, I kind of want to do this thing. Can you help me? I don't have any money. I have my money. I have like $300 to rent the theater. And that's all I got. I don't have money to really pay anybody, but I really wanted to do this. And so one by one, my friends thought it was an awesome idea, a novel idea. It was always multicultural, but it was me bringing the community together to support African-American playwrights.
Yeah.
It's always been national. It's never been just Houston. So what we did was we got together, and I got 10 directors. One of them, a couple of them are now board member for the Shabak Enterprise board. They've been with me since day one. That first year, we had to kind of double team a couple people and have, the artists had to play roles in 2 or 3 plays, but it was a magical time because that first night, we did a 3-day festival. That first night, it was comfortably full. We booked out a black box theater in the Heights. So that first night, it was comfortably full. We had done auditions, got everybody together, rehearsals and stuff like that. And we finished the show. We had a playwright fly in from New York, and I was like, we don't have the money to pay, we just gonna do your show. I'm just, And he's like, no, I don't get a lot of opportunity. So I'm flying in from New York to see my play, 10-minute play, right? So we did our first night, and it was comfortably full. And then around Friday, it was kind of like the magic happened and started to pick up. Yeah. And we were uncomfortably full. And
really
then that
full.
Saturday night, we were wall to wall, packing in this little black box theater.
SRO, standing room only.
You know, all kind of fire codes. They couldn't shut us down. You know, so a lot happened that first year. A lot of great memories for that first year. Too many to tell right now. Some I don't want to tell. But the second year we did it again, and it was the same type of results. Mm-hmm. The third year we were able to move to the Queensbury Theater. And, you know, as an executive director, you know your capacities, or you understand what you've been able to do. Mm-hmm. But then the Queensbury Theater had just been built, and they were 3 times as large as the black box theater that we were in. So I didn't know. I said, I know how to pack out a little small spot. Mm-hmm. Black box is between 80 to 100 seats. Yeah. But the Queensbury was like 300, 400 seats. And so, you know, you would think, okay, no problem, but you don't know how many people are going to come. So anyway, we moved over to Queensbury because we were too big for the black box theater. Yeah. And the first night, second night, and third night, it was packed. It was wonderful, right? And there were memories from those times also. Yeah. But from there, we just kept growing and growing and growing. And now we try to keep a high level of excellence and high quality of material that we submit out. The most rewarding thing is to see how happy the actors are, their ability to join forces with us, get on stage. It's a light load, you know, a 10-minute play is not really that heavy. Yeah. And then on top of that, the joy that the playwrights have. Some of them get the news that they've been inducted, and they cry. They cry because they've been selected. And it's like, this is a 10-minute play festival. We're going to completely produce the work. You don't have to pay for anything. Yeah. We will do a video, so you have a professional reel. But other than that, you know, you just need to concentrate on providing good work. Yeah. And so time and time again, they will fly themselves out, make it a vacation, come and see their work live, meet, mingle, connect with other playwrights. And it's just kind of like a ministry now, I think it is, for people. And so they want to get into Fade to Black because there's just no extra work that they have to do. They just have to do the work to develop a good product, a good 10-minute play. Once they're selected, we take it from there and really do our best to give them the best experience because they deserve it. They hadn't had it before. So that's what we do. Yeah. Well, make dreams happen.
I have a question in regards to what you said. So me personally, I have known you for a very long time, Miss Denise. I had the pleasure of being in one of your plays that you wrote, right?
Yes.
Actually, I think we did it twice, right?
Yes.
We did it twice.
Yeah.
So as a writer yourself and being able like to produce your work and have your work produced, how does that feel like out of body for you to have this idea of Fade to Black and see it like being fully produced and come to fruition? Like, you know, you said that when the writers know that their show is going to be produced, like they cry. Like, so for you, like having a show and being it produced, but Fade to Black being like your brainchild, baby, like how does that feel for you to see that actually like come to fruition? I mean, like this year alone in 2024 will be what, year 12, right? Year 12. So like, what does that feel like? Like, is that, how surreal is that for you?
It's real surreal. Mm. You know, you keep it moving, and then you look back and realize you're 12 seasons deep. Mm-hmm. So you just are committed to doing the work and not so much counting the years. I think it's important to make sure every time you do a new season that you recommit to doing the best job you can. You recommit to doing an excellent show and not slipping on that. And then you build a team around you that holds you accountable to make sure that you keep that high level of production. And so that's what you can do for free. You know, it doesn't cost anything to incorporate principles that make your show great, like starting on time, trying to make sure people are on top of things and make sure they don't slip into, we have a thing where we don't let the actors ad-lib. Some people think that's a cool thing to do, and it's like, no, you learn the script. It's just 10 minutes.
I agree.
Or making sure you connect with the playwright to collaborate with them. Those are things that don't cost you anything, but they add to the excellence of our show and the community that we're trying to build.
Yeah.
So I don't really think about how great it is. I just make sure every year I try to stay on top of doing it better and better, or at least as good as the last one. And then from there, improving on what we have done so far.
Okay, that's fair. Like, it's kind of how I compare, like, acting, right? Like, you could never really control the outcome. It's like an ostrich, right? Like, you just keep your head in the sand and as long as you can and just keep moving forward, because once you come up and worry about all of the outside noise, like, you might get distracted or off course. So that's good. That's good to know. So as a person that I am and have worked with you in so many ways and facets, even like now, here we are today, I know I've been doing this for a while, or doing whatever my art is for a while. And my question to you is, like, how long have you been invested in this or the arts or writing? Like, is it a lifetime thing, or was it like I've always wanted to do this, but I didn't do it first, or now I'm doing it later? Like, when was your genesis as far as, like, just art in general, like not even just Fade to Black, just writing or whatever it may be?
Yeah, well, when I was a child, I loved to write. I've always loved the arts. But I think I remember when I was, I don't know, maybe I was like 15. My dad was military, and we went around a lot, and we would go to church, and sometimes they would have Easter plays. And
the
so
good old resurrection play.
Resurrection
play.
And I think the bug hit me when I was asked to volunteer and help out. And you know how the Army has money to do whatever they want, and they had built this cross for Jesus, and they mounted this guy up on this cross.
Oh, man.
And we had to dress and outfit this guy. So I remember saying, he needs more blood on his body, more blood. And it just kind of overtook me. And it's like, Denise, are you okay? And I was like, I'm just saying, if we're really going to do this, we need to do more blood. And so they splashed some more blood on the guy. And after that, I was like, this is fascinating. I really love this. Yeah. And even today, I'm more of a behind the scenes person. I'm not somebody that really cares to be up front. But I've always loved writing, and I wrote some plays. I cut my teeth on producing those plays. Because I just didn't have that in my college background. I studied finance and business, and so I just would write. And then, as you go along your life path, you meet people that are part of your destiny. So I would write plays. I'd look at other people to see how to perfect it, and I got into directing. And then when it was time to branch out with Fade to Black, I had already been a director, but my business sense, I think, helped me to be a good organizer. Yeah. And I had developed friendships with people, and it was just a destined time, I think. Yeah. So I think the answer to your question is I started around, I don't know, when I was 5 years old, really liking poetry and writing and stuff like that. And probably about 30 is when I got to a place where I became a different type of playwright. Yeah. And I was not afraid to be authentic, and I'm not afraid to make the characters real life characters, and not, I used to be like, I don't want to cuss. I don't want to cuss. And so, but the character that I wrote in the play,
he was mad,
cussed
right?
a lot.
He was so angry, right?
And I was like, I don't really cuss that much, but so there was a time when I had to learn how to be a more authentic playwright, not because that's who I was as a person, but how to be true to writing the best work. Yeah. And if you keep moving, you're going to be a better playwright each year and thereafter. So I'm not, world famous, award-winning playwright for everything I've done, but I have the skill of of unifying people, inspiring them, giving them a platform to shine and to probably better define their craft. So I guess that's where it all started, when throwing the blood on the Jesus and on the cross.
Only in art you could just be like, we need more blood.
Oh,
we
more
need more blood. More blood on Jesus. Right. But you are being slightly modest, because I must say, as a actor here, like, you know, you do have a published play. And
I forgot about that.
Yeah, you do have a play that is published, and as one of the original actors in that play, like, you get the chance to have your name in that book of the original cast. And, like, you know, as an actor, when you think of things, when you get a playbook and you open that book and you look at, you know, who originated this play, like, it's probably tons of famous people that we all know for, like, these plays, like Piano Lesson or other shows. But to have that you know, that milestone as an actor, like, that's a thing. Like, it's a really, really big jump. Like, you know, like, to know that if anywhere in the world someone picks up that play and they read through that book, they will see, like, who the originators of that show and that cast was, where it was, you know, when it happened. And, like, you know, for me, being able to do that is the one and only time that has happened for me. And, you know, that's a big thing. So no need to be modest. No need to be modest. No need to be modest at all.
Going down in history.
Hey, I'm with it. I think Fade to Black is history. You know, I'm a Fade to Blacker myself.
Fade to Blackian.
Yeah, Fade to Blackian, whatever you want to call it. May not look like it, but it's in there, right? It's right here in this area. But yeah. So my next question to you, which may be, I don't even know if this is like a one-word answer for you specifically, but, like, what is the most unique thing about Fade to Black? Simply.
Ooh. I like the word revolutionary and revolutionizing, because it was never done in Houston before we did it.
Yeah.
I have been called visionary, but it's impactful. Let's see, I've heard people say it's necessary. You know, I don't know. I don't think about it that much. Yeah. I'm the producer. A producer just is thrown into making sure you make it happen. So
make sure the train goes from A to B.
Right. Or to Z. I think the word successful is probably appropriate. Needful is a great word, because it just is something we didn't realize we needed. Yeah. And when it took off, it's been embraced. We're very respected now. And if we didn't do things the way we did before, we probably would not have been where we are today. We would have bottomed out.
I agree with that. I say it all the time, and I've spoke to you about this before. It's like being a African American actor in Houston. I won't say that there aren't many opportunities for African American actors, but it's just not the most, right? Like, it's not like they are just falling from the sky in every which way that you can just pick and choose your jobs. And like I say, like, if it's not holiday time or February, you know, like, we don't know if you're going to be working or not. Like, we don't know. And the fact that Fade to Black happens all the time in the summer, which is usually a spot dedicated to musicals, like, when it comes to seasons of theaters, like, they kind of hold off and use their summertime for, like, the big summer musicals. You know, you got kids out of school and whatnot. But knowing that Fade to Black is coming, like, you always have an opportunity to possibly find a job. And like you said, it's just a 10-minute play. Like, it's not, you're not gonna
light load.
Yeah, it's a light load. You're not gonna go in there and do like a 2-hour feature film or play, but you just know, like, there is an opportunity for you to get a job or work or be in a play at some point throughout the year, whether you work or not the entire year. And I remember at one point in time, I was always looking looking forward to Fade to Black, whether I was working or not, y'all, because, you know, it's like, well, if they ain't going to hire me, I know when the summer come, I can at least be in one play, right? Like, I can do one play for the year.
Well, you're the reason why we had the two play rule.
You know, that
the first year.
I still don't agree with that.
Brandon tried to be in 3 shows.
It would have been 4.
It would have been 4.
My schedule just did not allow. My schedule didn't allow.
Like 2 shows maximum.
And speaking of that, the very first, like that first year, I never forget, I did your play. The play that you wrote, and it was a one-man show. That was the first one-man show.
Oh.
Remember, I believe it was like the very last play of the night.
Was it a monologue?
Existential crisis or something.
Oh,
I cannot remember. I can't
yeah.
remember the name of it, but I was like a teacher who was a professor who was like pissed about his tenure, like not being approved and whatnot. He's at the bar and he's just like drinking and he's just going on a tangent for about 10 minutes about all the things. So yeah, that was definitely a highlight for me.
That first year was something else. We had like 35 submissions.
Yeah.
We pulled out 10 of them, and so we had to have Brandon on board. Brandon is amazing. You know, the show wouldn't be the same without you. But
I appreciate it.
We would have been in 4 shows if we had to say this.
I would have did all of them.
And he wasn't the only one that wanted to do that.
Denise just didn't want me to do it. She's like, I would never get. She's like, well, Brandon, if you're in all the shows, how's everybody else gonna do a show? I was like, well, it ain't just one person in all the shows. It's the
Brandon Morgan show.
You got to know. You get some more people that they can do stuff.
No, it was you and another guy who wanted to be Andrew. Andrew, he wanted to be in.
Anthony.
Anthony, no, his name is Andrew. He's like, I can be in another play, and I was like, okay, we gotta set a rule. So, but that was exciting to me. That was wonderful that the actors wanted to do that. It also said they needed more work, they needed more opportunities.
We was hungry, y'all. We were very, very hungry. Like still are, but like very hungry. Like it was, like you said, like it was very much so needed, right? Like at that time, like. You are only your best place to get a job as a African American person, like without a shadow of a doubt, would be the ensemble, right? And like outside of that theater or realm, like you are pretty much at the mercy of the programming, right? Like if they don't do a show that has any persons of color in the play, or they make like you're just a victim to the programming.
Yeah, just not enough
opportunities. That programming
opportunities.
doesn't have you in it, like you just won't be in it. So it was definitely a thing to look forward to. Like, and I'm sure people still look forward to it now. I know a lot of people who are act in Fade to Black all the time, the directors, like all the things. So it's definitely a moment for us to cling to and thrive on. Like it is a wonderful, wonderful thing, wonderful ideal, and I'm glad I have been with you since the inception. I will tell this one story, okay? I'll never forget, we were doing Fly in the Windshield, right? And this was like even before like the full inception of the idea. Like we were just sitting around talking after rehearsal, and he was like, y'all, it's so hard being a playwright, y'all. It's so hard. Like they don't want to do your stuff. They don't want to produce your play. They don't want to, like, you got to do everything yourself. Like, oh my God, it's just hard. And she was like, and you were like, especially if you're black. Like, especially if you're black. And I was like, yeah, I bet. She's like, you know what? I think we should do like a play festival,
I know.
but only with black African American writers.
Absolutely.
I was like, writers. I was like, only, like that's it. Like that's the only thing that they got to be is just a black writer. Everybody else is free game.
Right.
I was like, that's a hell of an idea. And I mean, within that next year, like because that was right after Fly in the Windshield. I think Fly in the Windshield was 2013, and our inaugural.
Yeah,
that word. That word. Fade to Black was 2014, right?
We started 2013.
2013.
Right, and then one year we doubled up on our season, so now we're in our 12th season.
Yeah.
So but I was gonna say it was because of that the reading series was created. So we had so many great plays that I thought, man, I have 20 great plays. I only have 10 spots. I'm gonna have to leave these other 10 on the table, and so we created the reading series, which was a different facet where they read the plays like a workshop more so. And that allowed us to bring in more playwrights and more actors and more directors. So, yeah, it has taken off really, really well because it's all, like I said, and I have to say a lot for the fact that it's been multicultural. We invited everybody to the table for this one cause. And I think people appreciated that because they wanted to be a part of it. They thought it was a cool idea. But now it's it's a substantial part of the Houston arts landscape. And nobody else has done it since. So
You were recognized by the city, correct, for Fade to Black?
I have a day in my name.
Ooh, come on, y'all.
And Fade to Black has a day in their name.
Okay.
We have a volunteer day in our name.
Okay.
So it's a wonderful thing to be acknowledged and honored. But you got to keep doing the work at the same high level.
Yeah.
You can't just let it slip. And so that's what I encourage other people to do. People call me sometimes and say, well, how do we do Fade to Black in our city? And I say, you got to build a team. But the first thing is to get your mind right. You've got to have a vision. You've got to have clarity about what is important and what's not. How grandiose your set is not the most important thing, because if the work is good, you don't need to rely on this immaculate set. A lot of times if you're starting out, you shouldn't be putting money into that kind of stuff anyway. You should be mastering your craft, mastering the work. Whether you're an actor or director or playwright, you should be trying to do your best at it. The sets are great, and we put up a set, but by design, we can't go too extreme because you got 10 plays.
Got a transition, right? Scene changes through 10 different plays, like all different settings, all different costumes.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
So we concentrate on the quality of the performance, whether it's the director's work, actor's work, or the playwright's work.
Okay.
So those, like I said, those are things that don't cost you anything. Those are priorities that I think you need to set, that I always had in mind, and you learn and do better along the way. So, yeah.
So, I'm going to get a little controversial here.
Okay.
So, can you tell me some of the conflicts and speed bumps or tribulations that come with just producing a play festival or Fade to Black? Like, do you get any flack from only allowing African American playwrights? When people get left out sometimes, they get a little antsy, like, hey, I may not want to do it, but I just want the opportunity to be able to do it. When you take people's options away, they feel slighted in some kind of way. So, like, what kind of conflicts have you ran into along the way throughout the Fade to Black process?
So the first couple of years, it was kind of tough. And my premonitions were right, because the Dramatists Guild later on did a study to show, it was a study that was done across the country to see how many BIPOC artists or BIPOC playwrights had their work produced in mainstream theaters, and it was very, very low. It was the same thing I thought was the truth, and it was proven in that study. So, but the first couple of years, I had a lot of flack about it being, reverse discrimination. I was accused of that.
Cute.
And it was just interesting conversations. People, were really upset, and they weren't. It wasn't a lot of the white females or minority females. It was mainly the white males. And I said, there are thousands of play festivals. We're just saying this is for blacks. This is for black playwrights. They're underrepresented, and so they would be upset. They say, you need to make it for everyone. Everyone should be able to apply. You shouldn't, do it that way. It's reverse discrimination. Yeah. And so when we would ask them, well, why can't you be a part of other play festivals? Why do you have to be in this one. There really wasn't a strong argument. We have had people say to us, maybe you're competing with another black theater company. And that was never at any time the case. For me, it was about building legacy, and it was about doing something new. We don't do the same thing as other theaters. Theaters have seasons of works. We do a festival. And then we had, it's pretty much the same thing where other 10-minute play festivals were going on, and they were coming to our show and then saying, yours is better than ours. But that I never set out to specifically be better than anyone else. I set out to do a good thing and do it well and go home. That was it. I mean, really, I was not trying to say, let me just make sure I'm better than this.
Just slightly better than all of it.
I could care less about that kind of stuff. I mean, it just was what I was charged to do, and I needed to do it well, and then we're going to go home. And if it happens to be good, which is going to be good because I'm working on it, then great, So, but then around the 5th year, we kind of got, people started to get familiar with us. And they got familiar with the way we did things, the level of performance and the level of excellence that we were bringing consistently. And we didn't have so many people complaining and trying to say anything about it. As quiet as it's kept, we are a national play festival. So in Houston, a lot of people still don't know about us, but that's okay. I'm just going to do what I can and continue to do it as well as I can until it blows out more. The national playwrights across the country know about Fade to Black. They want to submit to us. It's a big thing to submit to Fade to Black and get inducted because they know I don't have to produce my work. I don't have to be under the umbrella of a name, and then so I don't have to have a situation where they say you're in, but now you've got to find your own actors, find your own director, find
basically
your own,
self-produce it.
Right. They don't have to self-produce it at all. They don't even have to make it there if they can't. We will do it all for them, and that's kind of what life should be like. That's what other races of playwrights will experience if a theater company brings them in to produce their work. It just was a little foreign to us, or foreign to the independent playwright, the self-taught playwright. So I'm happy to make dreams happen for people. I'm happy when the actors say, I made it to Fade to Black. And one guy said, my goal is on my bucket list is to do Fade to Black. And I was like, you got to audition. You know this, right? You got to be chosen, right? You got to audition. So yeah, it's a good thing to see how people are so happy about it. But it's that team, and it's the vision, and it's the commitment to consistency that help us overcome the naysayers and the objections that we have. We really don't have them anymore.
Well, that's good. That's good. So, without the risk or weight of capital and a team, like ideally, if everything was in place, you had everything at your leisure or disposal that you could ask for, what would be your ideal ultimate goal or destination for Fade to Black?
So there's a couple things. First is that we would like to acquire and be able to sustain a property that will allow us to give or offer a rehearsal space for actors. Thank you. An office space for actors and kind of a hub place for actors. I know that's big talk now, but actors really need more rehearsal spaces than what we have. And so the rehearsal space would be set up where, we'd have systems set up where you can automatically just go in and out. There's nobody that has to be there to man the rooms. There would be automatic lock doors where you could just punch in a code, or we can say, you've got the room from this time to this time, and it'll lock and unlock on itself. So kind of a self-sufficient building.
Little arts compound.
Exactly, right. And then that could be used to also offer low or affordable type of offices if you need those for artists. And then it's to make ourselves a company that joins people together and opens opportunities for other people. And we're still trying to figure out how we would slide into that, but that would be the ultimate goal. Most recently, we have decided to bring to the city of Houston a arts festival. Should I talk about that now? Or
Oh yeah, well I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did, because that was literally gonna be my next question. So let's just do it formally, right?
Okay.
So I keep hearing about this year 2025
Yes.
and Fade to Black. Like that's where everybody keeps saying, "Oh, Fade to Black 2025, Fade to Black 2025," and I'm like, okay, cool. So what is that, Denise? Like, what is happening with or inside of Fade to Black in 2025? Like, what are we doing? Is it not the same thing, or is it something different, or
Yeah,
like, what is it?
definitely different. Long story short, we are bringing to the state of Texas an arts festival. So it's not a theater festival, it's an arts festival. So it will cover film, poetry, music, and theater. So in 2022, I approached my friends. I've got a lot of friends within the theater community, arts community, and I said, I see this need. I know that, I know the objectives that you have for your theater. And I noticed that on the East Coast and the West Coast, they have a lot of festivals that are really, moving forward, progressive. There's nothing in the southern region of the U.S. like this. And so I said, hey, will you commit to mounting an African American show during this particular week in June of 2025? This would allow a tourist or a Houston native to come to the downtown area for that week and see a Black show at any location, any arts venue.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Being a Houstonian myself, that sounds amazing.
Right.
Truly.
And they all said yes. And so recently we have acquired some additional partnerships that will really branch out and elevate the quality of the festival. Shabak Enterprise will be producing some things. We'll be having workshops and classes, some things for the kids, vendors opportunities, fun things to do. But aside from that and outside of that, the partners will be mounting their own African American show, whether it's a film product, a poetry product, or a music type of product. They are mounting it. So you'll have opera, you'll have symphony, you'll have theater, poetry, film available to you for that week. And the other thing that was great that I didn't realize at the time, but it just seems to work out. But the festival butts up against, or is right before, the Juneteenth holiday. So this may incentivize tourists that come in to stay a couple more days in Houston and enjoy the Juneteenth celebration. But for that week prior, there's a arts festival vacation that they can have. And I think that once this is done, it will really be noteworthy for the nation that we're doing something new and coming together to bring a substantial and more meaningful type of support for African American artists. So that's what we're working on. People are excited about it.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of work.
Okay.
But I think we can pull it off.
Okay. Well, I think that my next question is just simply gonna be our Fade It Forward campaign, right? There is a thing that we just like to ask all interviewees, what advice or what's something that you can impart to our viewers, artists, actors, producers, writer, anybody, or just a random watcher or viewer, like Fade It Forward, what does that mean to you, and what would be your advice of fading it forward?
Okay. That's so much advice. Well, okay, so Fading It Forward is our initiative to allow experts in the industry to provide quality advice just to anyone that wants to get into the arts, make a career of it. But if I had to give advice to someone, which is advice to myself, it is to really figure out or commit the time that you need to figure out what you want to do with your life, what you want to do with a project. So people will say to me, I want to get into real estate. I want to do some real estate, because I have a background in real estate. I just want to do some real estate. And it's like, well, what kind of real estate? Real estate,
like commercial?
Commercial, residential, what? And they're not clear about it. And you don't have to be at the moment that you decide that's what you want to do. You have to commit to figuring out what stream or what facet of that you want to do, and then take the time to see yourself being successful at it. And that's just a standard rule for life, but that's the same rule I tell playwrights. I say that to people who ask me for advice about how to do a festival. And it's a bit of advice I have to remember to tell myself. So if I had to tell anyone something in terms of fading advice forward, would be to be a little easy on yourself, but make the commitment to say, what is it I want to give to the world? What legacy do I want to leave? Because that begins to inform everything else that you do. It brings the people in your life that help you push forward. And if you're clear on it, the distractions that you have, the obstacles that you have, can kind of be pushed away because you're clear on your vision. So it's like I said, it's not always a piece of cake. You have to say, I've got to clarify this vision and stick to it. If I fall, I got to keep getting back up and doing it again. But that is the one bit of advice that I give to people and to myself. And so that's what I would fade forward if I had to.
Okay, thank you. There you have it, folks. The Faded Forward from the revolutionary visionary herself, Miss S. Denise O'Neal. You saw I put that S right there.
Thank you.
That S. Denise O'Neal. All right. Well, Denise, this has been such a pleasure. I must say, we probably wouldn't even be here without you, of course. So, thank you for having us. Thank you for allowing all of this to happen and push forward into the future. I'm appreciative. I believe we all are. We thank you in our own little ways and whatnot. And thank you for everything that you have given us for Fade to Black. And I hope that we give enough back to you for Fade to Black, and that we can just give it all out to everyone else.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So thank you for dropping into the Fade. All
it.
things Fade to Black 2025, 2025, whichever way they go, 25 or 25, I don't even know, whichever way. But either way, thank you so much. What a pleasure to have you here. And, you can come on back to the Fade Corner anytime you ready, baby.
All right,
anytime
I'll let you know.
you ready, we'll be here. We might be talking to somebody. So if we are, just be quiet when you come in. But after that, you can pop on in, talk whatever you got to say.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for popping into the Fade. We'll catch you again next time.